All right. Here we are.
Yay.
Episode Harry the Hitman. We're not even excited tonight. It's the Harry the Hitman episode number 22.
My post even to remind everyone was like, I'm sorry this is late, but I'm still depressed.
Yeah, it was the game we were waiting for all season, and we got it at the worst time.
Worst or
best. True. Because now we can go on a 4-game run.
Yeah. Because you kept saying, John, it's really hard to win 10 games. It's really hard to win however many games.
It would have been 13. They'd had to win 13 in a row to be the Super Bowl champs.
Yep.
Yeah. And you kept saying it.
Every game you win, the next one's harder to win.
Yeah. So.
And what sucks the most about it is that we didn't even put up a fight.
Well, we did for 2.5 quarters. Yeah.
No.
Our defense did. Our defense did. Our
offense did. Sam Darnold did not. I am going to place this blame squarely on Sam Darnold and a little bit on KOC. But I can't even blame KOC because the reason I would blame him is also the reason why I respected him as a coach in the first place. Because
that's a good point.
I respected the fact that he kept going back to people when they were making mistakes, and he kept going back to people who were, having issues and showing him that he trusts them. So I can't be too mad that he's doing what I respected him for and thought that made him an excellent coach.
Yeah.
But I can be a little mad because
we can be mad at many people in this game. Our head coach, we could be a little mad at. B-Flow, we could be a little mad at, honestly.
Yeah.
And Sammy Darnold, we can definitely be mad at.
A lot mad at.
But as I've brought up before, we're like parents, right? You can be mad at them, but you still love them, and you just want them to do better next time.
Yes.
Right? Here we go. We have Purple Jesus already.
That's why I said you can blame him. But you can't blame him because I praised him for doing exactly what he's doing right now, or what he did in the game, what he did with Aaron Jones. When Aaron Jones fumbled the ball, he gave it right back to him, and he performed. And so I can be mad at him, but this is exactly what I praised him for in the past. For believing in his players.
I agree. I agree with Purple Jesus about maybe you change some of the pass plays. Run
the ball more.
Yeah, which we definitely don't do.
We had an incredible. I was listening to one podcast and we had our best success rate on early runs that we've ever had all year, and the best success rate against that the Lions has ever had against them on early down runs. And I'm like, why didn't we keep running? I can be mad at KOC. But my majority of my madness is at Sam Darnold.
And the offensive line.
Yeah, the offensive line was not great either.
Nope. But again, and we talked about this pre-show, we played into Dan Campbell's madness, right? Because he gambles on everything he does. All of a sudden, we don't kick field goals on 4th down. We're going for it all the time.
I don't necessarily think we played into Dan Campbell's madness. I think we played into the media's hype of the game because everyone talked about how this was going to be a shootout, and everyone talked about even the announcers were saying, "Oh, you have to go here. You have to go for it." And I don't necessarily think that it was bad, but Sam Darnold wasn't on, and it wasn't going to be a shootout, and it wasn't a shootout, and we were still in it. And for how poorly we were performing, we were still in it for so long that I don't necessarily think it was a bad thing because yes, we didn't get any points, but also our defense held them. And I think they were talking about the percentage of getting a turnover or them to punt the ball when you're back so far is a lot higher, which I think we proved it. But I mean, yeah. I just that. Yeah, I don't know.
It was just a mess of a game for a quarter and a half. It was really a mess of a game for 4 quarters, but it became a real get out your hazmat suits mess with about a quarter and a half to go.
Yeah, we stopped watching. We turned the game off before it was over.
Well, as I told you prior, not only was the game going the wrong way, I literally thought my dog was dying towards the end of that game. So my life got put in perspective real fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our children are sneaking out of their bedroom. And last time they did that, they ate a bag of marshmallows.
Ooh.
The time before that, I'm trying to remember all the things that they've done, but the time before that, they like brought food into their bedroom. They like played downstairs on their tablets. Like, so Dan is being extra like, I hear a door, get in your room.
Well, that's okay. We're trying to actually. This is probably going to be a painful show tonight.
Yeah.
I'm looking at numbers. I took numbers down. Like we were 3 of 13 on third down, which is awful. We only had 262 yards of offense, which is awful. Sammy, without throwing an interception, had a terrible game.
Yeah.
And Goff he threw 2 interceptions, but 27 for 33. And once he figured out that our middle was kind of soft on defense, he exploited it to no end. And Gibbs was just ridiculous. Yeah. We couldn't stop him. So, but again, I think
second.
No, we
in the last
couldn't,
quarter and a half.
Yeah.
We couldn't stop their O-line.
Yeah, that's fair. Their O-line had some incredible.
When you can drive a truck through the hole.
When you can drive a truck through spread open lanes of traffic. I don't think you can give Jones, all that credit to Gibbs.
Gibbs is fast. Like when he got down inside the red zone, he could turn on the thrusters and he burned us. But when you're working down the field, like if Jones had those holes, he would do the same thing.
Yeah.
I could have had 75 yards running on Sunday with those holes, and I am old and fat.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
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 I think it sort of got to a point where, like, I don't think the defense got gas because they can show us that they can perform for a whole game. I think they got demoralized and they were like, how much can we keep keeping them in their game? That's why I think this loss is like a big emotional gut punch. And I feel like it's a bigger deal loss than like the Packers loss or even the Rams loss.
Well,
although, a side note, very random thought, they always say after a really big emotional win, there's always a loss. Like a lot of times you have a loss. And it's a pretty miserable loss. Like what happened with the Minneapolis Miracle.
Yeah, and then the Eagles just kicked our butts.
Yeah. So maybe it's a good thing we had our loss before the playoffs, like our big emotional win before the playoffs, to kind of just like be like, okay, well, we got to check our emotions after a win so we can be better prepared for the next one.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to see. We'll see what kind of character they have because next Monday night, now it's really real.
Yeah. This is for all the marbles.
Well, despite losing by 22 points, let's pick our stars of the game from last week. Corey, you get to go first.
I think Gernard. I'm going to go with Gernard.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
He had a really good game. He made some incredible. How many sacks did he have? Like
He just had one sack, but he also had 2 tackles for loss.
Okay. Yep. And so he made some incredible plays. He kept us in it, and he was a force to be reckoned with.
Good. What do you got, Dan? Star of the game from last week's debacle.
Van Ginkel.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Purely for the anticipation and the read and the hit on Gibbs.
Oh my God.
That was
he annihilated
him, and it was a perfectly clean hit. And then he anticipated it. He almost had another pick six.
Yeah.
And of course, that never hurts us when guys don't get the pick sixes or the interception that you should get. Never hurts the Vikings.
No.
It's always like, oh, that didn't happen. That's no big deal. Right.
Which Cora saw a video of Van Ginkel's son.
Yeah. So there's this video going around, and it's the morning after the game, and his son was talking to him about like the things he could have done better in the game. He's like this 3-year-old boy. You can barely understand anything he says, and he's talking about the catch, and he's like, making the catching movements, and the guys and dad's like, yeah, I should have caught it. And he goes, and then he goes, and then he's like, he said something else. And he goes, you would have caught it. And he said, yeah, Dad, I
would have caught it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Throwing shade at your own father. That's
awesome. Yeah. So yes, I would love Ginkel and Grenard to both stay. And Ginkel, Grenard, Cashman, Murphy, Gilmore, I could take him or leave him. If he wants to stay, great. If he doesn't, whatever. But I want Grenard, Van Ginkel, and Cashman and Murphy. And then, all of the, Metellus and Bynum. But I want those to stay.
Well, I hope we work on getting that done. And I think that they're going to be on the priority list for the offseason.
Yeah.
My star for this week, I could pick Pace, who led the team in tackles. I could pick him. But I'm going sentiment here. I'm going with Harry.
There you go.
4 tackles, 3 solos, and a pretty interception.
That was amazing.
Yep.
That was like Jared Goff being like, hey, I'm going to give you an interception.
I love Harry. He's probably my favorite current Viking based on longevity and what he's done.
Oh, yeah. And the deals he's taken, the performance he's made, the person he is, 100%.
So this is probably a sentimental pick for me.
Go for
but
it.
I had to take him. Those other guys I don't think we've actually had Harry as a star.
Jay, it's okay. All of our energy is off tonight, too.
Yep. I'm feeling that.
We're gonna try it. Okay? We're gonna battle through this.
Just because we're off doesn't mean we don't show up.
Yeah, there you go.
We might even talk about non-Vikings related stuff later if you hang around. So,
Dan, no, we'll wait for it.
Okay. Well, let's do the X Factors. How about that? Let's go to the X Factors because this was a critical week for X Factors.
A good segue into Dan. I think Pace.
I don't think it's even close this week.
No.
Dan, you played spoiler this week.
Yeah.
10 tackles, 5 solo, a tackle for loss, and an interception. The rest of us weren't even in the ballpark.
I think Sally was close with Van Ginkel.
Sally was close with it, yeah.
But yeah, no. Well done.
Pace had a really good game.
Well done.
That leaves the regular season standings.
John and I are tied.
We are tied now. Do we go with tiebreaker or do we just share the wealth here?
We got to have a winner.
I think we could go into the playoffs.
All right, so Dan doesn't get the pick then.
So I'm at
4.
Yep.
You guys are at 5.
6.
We're at 6.
You're at 6. Yeah.
We can go into the playoffs. Dan has a chance to completely upset everything. If we
No, I already lost. It's playoffs for X Factor now. And I'm out.
Oh, so we just pick between John
Yeah.
and I?
Between
Yeah.
you and John. Yep.
Oh, okay. And then we
you,
just
Jay.
pick
Thank you.
until we are done.
Pick-
Well, yeah, let's
We'll
do that. Let's do that. Let's pick until we're done.
What if we tie
Cheers.
again? What if we each get 2 more right?
Then we have to share the trophy and get both our names
Then
engraved.
okay, then we can share the trophy.
We'll get one trophy. We'll engrave both our names, and then we'll also engrave on it, "Sorry, Dan."
Part of the game. Part of the game. Every game has to have a loser.
This game is you.
I am not a participation trophy guy. I don't want participation trophies. If I lose, I lose. It's fine.
I like that attitude. Dan's got a great attitude. All right, Cora, since you're the last winner amongst us, between you and I, you have the honors. You go. So you pick your X Factor first for this game.
Murphy.
Murphy?
Yep, I'm going Murphy.
Yeah, he was on my list too.
What's up, Bob?
I think, hey, Bob, I'm not going to hype him up too much, but B-Flow had said the last time we met with the Rams, they had zero indication that Puka Nacua would be coming back. They weren't prepared for him because I don't think anyone knew Puka was coming back. I don't think anyone knew that he could come back.
John did.
You knew,
Yep.
John?
Yep.
Okay. So as a really poor excuse for B-Flow, but at the same time, I think maybe now they can prepare better. So I think Murphy.
I'm going on the other side of the ball. I'm going with the guy that I think we may have all used him at least once this year.
Yeah.
Jalen Naylor.
Okay.
Speedy.
Speedy's got to be it. I think Speedy's going to find himself with some room. The key is going to be, can Sam find him?
Yes.
Yep.
I think we're going to need Speedy. I really do. I think a lot of focus is going to go on those other two guys. Speedy has a chance to have a really big game. So I'm taking Speedy in the tiebreaker.
Discuss Hawkinson.
No, we did not.
Do we want to discuss Hawkinson?
Dan wants to discuss Hawkinson.
All right, since he flopped as my X Factor.
What the heck is up with Hawk?
I don't think it's all him. I think it's Sam. But
They just don't have a good chemistry. Sometimes a quarterback doesn't have a good chemistry with a guy.
No, but like to the point of I'm gonna pull baseball in because it's what I know.
All right, so if you had under
Baseball at
18 minutes for the
minutes.
baseball,
Yeah,
you
baseball.
win. Go cash in at
Yeah.
DraftKings or wherever.
Mark it off on your bingo card.
there you go.
Yeah. No, so I played through college as an outfielder. As an outfielder, you're constantly seeing balls hit off bats, right? And I get to the point where I can tell if the ball's going to left field, right field, center field, off of the player's swing, right? And then the first 10 feet of the ball's trajectory. You know where it's going. You know how hard it's hit by the sound of the ball makes off the bat. And you know the route to take because you've seen it hundreds and hundreds of times, right? The pass over the middle that Hawkinson tries to catch, basket catch.
Right.
Yes, it's a high pass, right? But as soon as that ball is thrown and the first 2/10 of that ball out of his hand, Hawkinson should know how high it's going to be and how hard that ball is thrown and know that he has zero chance to basket catch it. And based off of instinct, you turn and you try and high point that ball. You don't basket catch that. That to me looks like someone who is either not trusting their instincts or has lost touch with seeing the ball out of a quarterback's hand.
Well, he's been out. He was out for over a year.
And that's where I'm kind of at is he's not back in himself yet.
Has he had like a good breakout game?
He had the 140 something yard game with was that Addison that went off?
Oh yeah. That's right.
So like he had that game, but it's his instincts with how to catch the ball are off. Even on balls into the gut, his instincts on absorbing the ball and prepping for the hit or the contact from the defender are off.
Do we think a lack of a preseason where he got to work with his new quarterback might play into it as well?
Yeah.
It looks to me more like a lack of balls being thrown at him with intention. Yes, you run routes, but there's a difference between running routes and running them at full speed.
Mm-hmm.
And running them against a defender at full speed. And I don't think he was getting that practice. With no pressure, balls that are not leading you on your front shoulder. And I think he's out of practice with that, or out of touch with it.
That game was so depressing.
He's not a main target on this team. He's not, because Addison has stepped up and Naylor has actually become the third target. So now a guy who's used to being probably one of your top two targets is now your fourth target. And that might play into it as well. Like you said, maybe he's not running his routes at full speed. Maybe he's not anticipating throws coming his way.
And this is more so, this is like the practice part. So Jay, like what I'm getting at is more so when he's practicing, when he's recovering from this injury and he starts to run routes and he gets more healthy and he's getting closer to running back into the games and practices at full speed, are the quarterbacks throwing him these practice passes, throwing with more intention, that like the intention that Sam delivers in the games. And so it's that he's not getting that practice. And he's out of touch with it. And that, at least that's what it looks like to me, is that like he's not, his instincts are off, because in the game, you don't really think a whole lot about what you're doing in the game. You play off instincts.
Right.
You practice and practice and practice so that you build yourself to make the right instinctual decision in the game. And then you get in the game and you play hard, you run hard and you play hard and you let your instincts take over.
I know the guy can play. I know he's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's concerning to see what's going on with him. I almost feel safer with Oliver being a target over Hawkinson.
I would just like to say that Oliver has some heavy feet and is incredibly slow. And I did not realize how slow he was until he got that ball and attempted to run.
No, he's not. He's a blocker.
Yeah.
That there's like no question. He's
those heavy feet plant him in his spot. But oof.
And yet he looks like a world-class sprinter next to Johnny Munn. So.
Yeah.
Put those guys in a race and you'll time that thing on a sundial. I mean, they're not fast.
What is so funny is like the difference of like me hitting puberty was like the difference of Oliver running and like Addison running.
Yeah.
Like I hit puberty. Before I ran like Oliver. I hit puberty and developed some strength. I ran like Addison.
That's a good point, Bobby.
Yeah.
And you know, when Aaron Jones is out there, Aaron Jones is his quick check down. But Aaron wasn't out there enough in this game.
I just don't understand. Like, the game felt off. I mean, obviously Darnold felt off, but the game felt off. Justin Jefferson felt off. In the first missed touchdown pass, you could see it in his eyes. You could see it in Justin Jefferson's eyes that he was frustrated and he wasn't. he looked panicked and he looked like, I don't even know what the word I'm trying to look for, but his eyes looked like they were off. And I was like, I said it to Dan, I was like, ooh, he does not look like he's zoned in. And I don't know if it was the fact that he was getting held, the fact that it was getting frustrated, but it wasn't even the same Jefferson. It looked like he was like getting frustrated and like not melting down, but like frustrated and like, get your hands off me, instead of like frustrated and like, I'm going to get you off me, you know? And I don't know. He didn't seem like himself. Addison didn't seem like himself. Sam obviously didn't. And I don't know. I want to know if something happened or if like someone was off. Yeah. JJ was held all night. Yep. And
it's when you're getting held all night and then the times you get open, you're overthrown.
Yeah.
It's a frustrating game.
And
I do think it is hilarious. Not hilarious. That's not the right word. I think it is very interesting that the guy that the Lions have on their team, and maybe it's intentional, maybe it's not, is the cornerback who played high school against Justin Jefferson, who played in college against Justin Jefferson, and now is playing in the pros against Justin Jefferson. And yes, he held them all night. And yes, there should have been penalties, but he has probably been the most successful one-on-one cornerback that we've seen against Justin Jefferson.
In that defense, though, this was the most pressure Darnold has ever faced.
Yeah.
So he did not have to guard him for long.
And I will say he got open. There were opportunities for him to get touchdowns. There were opportunities for Justin. Like, I think every single throw to Justin Jefferson in that one.
Oh, in the three possessions
that we had that just targeted Justin, he was open and he could have gotten the ball if Sam would have thrown him the ball into a place that was remotely catchable.
Well, there was the one that was holding in the end zone.
Oh my God. Anyways.
Darnold put it in the right spot and he was held. And it slowed him down and stopped him from getting there. But
everybody was just off at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Everybody was off together. Nobody. And that's what you get. When everybody's off.
Robinson was beat to the inside consistently.
I unfortunately called it, but Zadarius Smith had a day against the Vikings. And he was all, they don't want to be against me. I want to play against them, blah, blah, blah. And he had a day against us. And I'm like, for the love of Pete.
Yeah, how come when guys mouth off against us, they go off and play really well to back it up?
Not all of them. It only seemed to be when they sassed up Kirk Cousins that they performed really poorly. Although, if karma is anything, if karma is real about mocking the skull chant, when we meet the Lions again, we're going to win. If karma is anything about mocking
the Lions again.
Well, I think it's more of if we make it past the Rams and we make it to the Lions.
We might not play them in the second round.
It is really hard to beat a team 3 times. It's really hard to beat a team 3 times.
I don't think that way, right?
If Sam is on, we win that game. Handedly, we win that game.
And I saw someone post today that outside of this game, this was the second most pressured or high pressure game for Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Because the first was his first game starting, which was as a Jet in Detroit.
And Sam Darnold has never seen a playoff game. I'm actually really glad that there was this high intense pressure game before we get to the playoffs to see how Sam performs under the lights and if we can right the ship into a playoff game, because it's not one and done. It wasn't. It will be next week.
Right.
But this won't be his first experience experiencing something that high intense and that much pressure filled. That was like a playoff game.
I don't think this first playoff game will feel as much pressure as this game.
I don't think so either.
Well, here's an interesting thing that happened today, if you were paying attention, and I'm sure you were. Did you see the Vikings added to their 53-man today?
I did. I think it's mainly just for compensatory picks, but I did.
Don't be surprised if somehow, some way, KOC finds a way to get Daniel Jones on the field.
Safety.
Remember?
Safety.
He was playing safety and for the Giants at the end.
So don't be surprised if they find a way to put him in a wrinkle. Maybe they have both quarterbacks on the field at the same time, kind of thing.
That would be fun.
That would be interesting.
We may need to do something like that because if Sunday was any indication of what could happen on Monday, and we'll talk about that in a little while, my confidence level is not at an all-time high. Let's put it that way.
I'm trying to increase my confidence level in this team because
the way
I want to.
I think we win this next game. The Rams are a very good team, but I think the Vikings come in with a chip on their shoulder.
I hope so.
Of saying, like, holy shit, that was embarrassing. Yep. We are so much better than that.
Well, I think Sean McVay wanted the Vikings because he could have gotten the 3 seed on Sunday, chose to sit his players. Why? Well, because it was going to be the winner. He was going to play the loser of the Lions and the Vikings. He's already beaten the Vikings this year, and he's already played the Lions this year. He has not seen Washington. I don't think he wants any part of that kid going up against him. So he already has a book on the Vikings and the Lions. So he wants them in the first round. I mean, again, sometimes Sean McVay is playing chess when the rest of us are playing checkers.
Yeah.
It's fair. But then he would have gotten the Lions and
yeah, but he's already played them this year. And
I'm surprised that the walnut, I am surprised as well. That Dan Campbell's risks have not burned him.
They would have if our offense was performing.
That's fair. That's fair.
If our offense was performing like we normally do on an average game, not even a good game, on an average game, if we're performing, his risks burn him because he had 3 4th downs that were turnover on downs. That's huge.
Yeah.
The one was a pass when a quarterback keeper would have gotten the first down.
Right. They had like 6 inches to go.
Yeah.
They had 6 inches to go, and the ball was at midfield.
Yeah. I call him Coach Knucklehead because that's what he is. He's a big knucklehead, and he gets away with being a knucklehead.
We beat ourselves in that game.
Yeah.
The Lions beat us in the final quarter.
Oh yeah.
And like dogpiled or like where you take your elbow and you just like kill them. Yes, but we beat ourselves in the first 3.
Yep.
They did not beat us because there were multiple times. It was Sam. There were multiple times Addison was open, multiple times Hawkinson was open, multiple times Jefferson was open, and they were also open in the end zone, and he underthrew them, ran backwards for 17 yards.
Yeah.
That was huge.
So I just think he was, I don't know what was up with him, but it was.
I'm hoping they got it all out of their system at the worst / best time.
Yes.
Dan, do you want to talk about your man? Because he's going to the playoffs.
I'm keeping it short. He performed like a NFL starting quarterback against a second team.
Yeah, that's perfect.
It's like this is what did you think he wasn't gonna do well? Like you've seen it. Like he's a good quarterback. He's still better than what everybody gives him. And he did exactly what a good quarterback would do against a second-team defense.
Yeah, he
That's
had a
all I got.
solid, like you said, solid game against backups.
Yeah.
Now we'll see what he does when it's really important.
Yeah. Well, now he's got the playoffs. And
Who do they play playoffs? Steelers?
I don't know.
No, they come here. They're going to be in Buffalo.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
that's right. They play the Bills. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna lose.
I could actually go to that game.
I don't
Do
know.
it.
You should.
It might be cold, but do it.
Because the Broncos still arguably have the best defense in the NFL.
That's fair.
And the thing is going to be,
Bronix can do enough to keep them in it.
well, the thing is going to be,
I still think they lose.
Bo Nix Sean Payton and Bo Nix have to find this middle ground. He can't play him and use him like Joe Burrow. Like, he can't use him to throw all the time. And you can't use him like a Kyler Murray, who's going to be speedy around with the ball. And there's this happy middle ground where they showed it a lot this last game of more passes between 5 and 15 yards and letting Bo Nix use his legs. Design plays to let him roll out and use his legs. If they let him do that, if they throw these kind of passes and use him in that way, they have a solid chance to beat the Bills because their defense will keep them in it.
That's a bold take.
I will be rooting hard against the Broncos on Sunday.
That's totally fine. I'm just like watching this from like, I just really like Bo Nix. Like,
right.
And
we know, otherwise he wouldn't have a segment on a Viking show.
But looking at it, like everything else of like what the Bills have and what the Broncos have is, I think the Broncos can hold the Bills offense, and it's going to come down to how Sean Payton lets Bo Nix play.
Real quick, we should go through and just quickly say which one we think will win for each of the wild card matchups.
Except ours, because we saved that one.
What was that?
Save ours, though.
Yes, yeah. Chargers and Texans.
Chargers.
I'm going Chargers.
Texans.
Woo!
Chargers.
Oh, wait. No, yeah, Chargers.
Chargers?
Yep, Chargers.
Okay. Broncos and Bills. I'm going Bills.
I think Broncos.
Bills.
Commanders and Buccaneers.
Commanders.
Tampa Bay. I'm going to take Mayfield.
Ooh.
I think I might go Commanders. Spice it up a little bit.
That's the sexy pick.
Steelers and Ravens.
Ravens.
Packers and Eagles. Side note, I don't think Jalen Hurts has cleared concussion protocol yet.
If Hurts plays, I'm taking the Eagles. If Hurts does not play, I will take the Packers.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. Because I saw somewhere that he hadn't cleared concussion protocol yet.
He will.
I was like,
he will. They'll find a way to get him to clear for this game.
I was like, if he's not in this game, I think there's a chance where the Packers can beat the Eagles, even if Jalen Hurts plays.
They gave him a battle in the first game of the season, but But
I think
Packers can play with anybody.
Yeah, not the Bears. Oh, that was a miserable game. That was a really fun game to watch.
That was a weird game because they pulled LaFleur. So LaFleur pulls Love.
Yeah.
And he goes with
Willis.
Yeah, with Willis. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute.
We got to put him back in.
I got to put him back in because we may need to win this because I don't like what's going on in, I think, the Commanders game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, well, make up your mind, son.
Mm-hmm.
You should have thought of that before.
Make up your mind. Like, it's a little too late. And you have to give credit to Caleb Williams and the Bears. You know, they had nothing to play for other than to screw over the Packers, and they did.
And they did. And they played for that, and they did.
Yep.
I thought they were going to pull another one of those mismanagement of the clock moves, though, when he threw the pass over the middle at the end of the game.
And they won it on a game-winning field goal.
That's right. Make up your mind, son.
Yes.
No one's crying over the Packers losing. I'm not.
No.
And I don't like the Bears, but I hate
What was so fun, what I love about that game so much is that we're sitting there watching it, and the Packers kick the field goal to go up, and I turn the corner and I go, how funny would it be if the Bears came down and scored?
Well, the way the Packers got the ball back was so Bears, right? Because all the Bears really need to do is run the clock down, and they're throwing passes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That was...
But I will say this. Of all the NFC North teams that aren't us, the one I would least like to see win the Super Bowl is the Lions.
Yeah.
It's the Lions. And it's not even close. It's the Lions.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want them winning a Super Bowl. I don't.
No.
Not at all.
It's personal.
Yeah, it's really personal now.
Yeah. No. Not them.
No.
I will root for the Packers ahead of the Lions 100 times out of 100.
In all honesty, I will see myself rooting for the Packers this weekend against Philadelphia, so that it's the Lions against each other, and I will root for the Packers to beat the Lions.
Yeah, because we want to. If the Vikings managed to win, you want a chance of playing at home again. Sure.
Although at the same time, didn't we just say it's really hard to beat a team 3 times in a row?
Yep.
What you want though, and what happens?
3 times in a row.
Yeah. Hey, Cora, you want to get defensive?
I am going to get defensive, but I am going to get defensive on how you should not be depressed about this next game.
Okay.
Okay. So my favorite graphic ever. I'm actually going to move my camera, and hopefully that this works. So, maybe not. It's not working.
Oh, that's not good. Oh no.
Upside down. Dang it. All right.
Green. I see gummy. I see Cabbage Patch.
Sour Patch gummies.
Sour Patch Kids on the table.
The graphic is of the circle of the Minnesota Vikings. It has.
It's the Minnesota Vikings circle with like the
Get
life cycle.
And it is a circle. Multiple arrows going around in a circle. It starts. We stop.
He had his segment.
Get our hopes up. We get our hopes up, and the arrow comes around. They let us down, and then we start to believe again. Okay. Jennifer M from Twitter. Jennifer with a whole bunch of numbers from Twitter. Tweeted
Jennifer.
it out on the 4th. Circled. They are getting our hopes up. We are here. We are now around the hump of they let us down. So we just got to start believing again. They are going to have us start believing again. And how Vikings of it to have a miserable game, awful, miserable, disaster game, only to come back and play lights out. If we're going to talk about how Vikings it is to have to like be awful when the lights are on us, when nobody thinks we're good, we come back and we have insane games. Too many people were believing in us last week. There was an entire panel that picked the Vikings over the Lions, which one panel had the Vikings winning over the Lions, and all the rest of the panels had the Lions winning over the Vikings. But too many people were believing in us.
Yeah.
They were getting their hopes up.
We don't like that.
We're back here. Now we're going to start to believe again. That is how the Vikings fandom works. So it's just so Vikings of us to win next week.
So
if we're going to talk about how we fail in the big lights, we also come back to get our hopes back up.
The Vikings are the Lucy to the fans' Charlie Brown.
That's are. Is there a way? Can we say, is there a way to make Viking a verb?
Sure.
Like we're Viking right now.
We got Vikinged.
We got Vikinged.
If you can get mossed, you can get Vikinged.
Yeah.
True.
We got Vikinged. Now the Rams are going to get Vikinged. Let's go.
It would be nice because to see McVay's strategy blow up in his face. I would love to see the paper boy go back on his route after Monday night.
Bob, we're winning it all, just so you know. I'm after
All right, Bob.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, I say that all the time, Jay. Vikings gonna Viking. All right, can I do my thing now?
The Viking is going back up, Jay. John, Vikings going back up. We got our hopes up. They were crushed. Now it's only going to go this way.
We need to stitch that.
And so let's take this one step further. Our hopes were so high. Then they were so crushed. Now we just explode up. Isn't that how momentum works? Isn't that how Vikings fandom works? That once you were literally obliterated and your soul was crushed,
isn't that
now you just explode?
That's the only proper way to Viking.
It's the only proper way to Viking.
The proper way to Viking is ending up at the liquor store an awful lot. That's probably
ending up at the liquor store.
No, not me. I'm not that. I've managed to avoid that.
Chat, this isn't Wisconsin.
Yeah. I'll eat a nice top casserole.
I hope I made you feel a smidgen more excited about this game.
Well, I'm gonna try and even add to that now.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Are you taking us back?
Taking us
We're going back.
Let's go.
Valhalla!
Valhalla back. December 26, 1977. The Vikings travel to Los Angeles to the Coliseum. The game was dubbed the Mud Bowl because for 2 days it rained in Southern California. And because they didn't play on Christmas back then because they honored the holiday, they played the game on Monday night. Or Monday, I think Monday afternoon, the 26th, in the mess, in the muck. The Vikings get on the board first, Chuck Foreman from 5 yards out. The Vikings had stopped the Rams on 4th and 1 on their first drive on the 31-yard line and came down and scored 7-0. Nothing happens. The field just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. It is a massive mud pit. And in the fourth quarter, Vikings defender Nate Allen intercepts a Pat Hayden pass in the end zone to preserve the 7-0 lead. It was a beautiful catch. If you can find it, look it up. In the rain, in the muck, he does a toe drag tap in the back of the end zone to preserve the lead. Vikings would get the ball, and then Sammy Johnson, who only carried the ball 3 times in the game for the Vikings, scoots in from a yard out. The Vikings go up 14-0 with just under 14 minutes left in the game.
Let's go.
Later in the fourth, with the Rams driving again, Hall of Famer Paul Krause intercepts a pass on the 2-yard line, kills that drive. Now, with 56 seconds left, the Rams get on the board. Harold Jackson catches a 1-yard pass from Pat Hayden. It's 14-7. The Rams then recover an onside kick with 56 seconds to go. And they're driving, and they get to the Vikings 31. And on the last play of the game, they throw it up into the end zone, and it is picked off by Jeff Wright in the end zone. He takes it down. The Vikings take a knee. Actually, they don't take a knee. It was the last play of the game. The Vikings hold on to win this game 14-7.
Let's go.
The Vikings do this as a 10.5-point underdog.
Ooh.
The Vikings do this after losing to the Rams 35-3 earlier in the season.
Ooh.
So some stats from this game, which aren't great. Bob the General Lee quarterbacked the Vikings because Fran Tarkington had been injured 3 weeks after the Rams game, broke his fibula. He was out for the season. Lee goes 5 for 10 for 57 yards passing. All 5 of his completions came on the first drive of the game before the field turned into a mucky mess. Chuck Foreman was the star of this game on offense. 31 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown in the mess, in the swamp.
Let's go.
Ahmad Rashad was our top receiver, 2 catches for 37 yards. He's been mentioned before on the show. Nate Allen, Jeff Wright, and Paul Krause all had an interception, and the only sack the Vikings recorded this day was by Alan Page. Why did I pick this game? Aside from the couple of things I just told you about being an underdog and getting crushed by them earlier, this was the last time the Vikings have beaten the Rams on the road in the playoffs. They have not won a playoff game against the Rams on the road since 1977. Another fun fact about this game, it was the last game that Joe Namath suited up for. He was with the Rams at the time. He never played. He didn't play, but it was his last game as an NFL player. He retired right after the game.
Wow.
So it's a short one, but that is this week's Valhalla back, and hopefully we get some.
That is a wonderful
deja vu
back.
I like it. I like it.
Look up. There are a couple of videos of this game. It's just fun to watch because it's so messy and gross.
I've seen videos of it.
It was a disaster. Complete disaster.
We'll have to watch it.
You can actually see the whole game. There's like a 2-hour video of the whole game. I did not watch that in preparation for the show. I watched the 15-minute highlight video. It was messy. All right, time for predictions coming off of Cora's hype video and my Nostradamus. Or my Valhalla back, sorry.
Let's go.
What do we got, Cora? What are you picking?
I'm picking the Vikings.
Score?
34-27.
Wow. So she's going with a high-scoring game.
Yep, I'm going to go with a high-scoring game. I think the Vikings defense is going to do pretty much what they've been doing for most of these last few games. They're going to let them inch back, but 34-27.
All right.
I think we'll win. I think it'll be a comeback game for Darnold, and I don't think he's going to have all of his confidence back, but I think he's going to – I think you'll be able to tell throughout the game he's getting it back.
Have wrenches?
I don't know what the wrenches is about, unless you're going to throw them at us and so we can dodge them.
Yeah, dodge, duck, dip, dive, dodge.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Well, that's right. Dan, who do you got on Sunday?
I got the Vikings. 38-17.
Woo!
Dan's blind optimism just made
I love it.
I think this is just a full on. We got a chip. We got a chip on our shoulder. I think we come back in. I think Darnold comes back in with a point to prove.
You know all those AI videos of Sam Darnold talking about like just ridiculous at the podium? That's going to be his
voiceover.
Voice. No, it's AI.
It's AI augmented voice.
Yeah.
But it's someone.
Okay, anyways, that's going to be his swag going into this game.
Okay.
I don't think it's even. I wouldn't even call it swag coming into the game. I think it's. I think it's pure competitive chip on his shoulder, like pure competitive aggressiveness. Like I think he comes in, and I don't think he tries to do too much because he's tried to do that already this season, and he's gotten burned by trying to go too deep too often. But I think he comes in, and I think he, as a point to prove of executing a game, of putting the ball in the best possible spot for his receivers to catch it, because that was what killed it. He did not put the ball in the best possible spot to catch it. And
he had a wrap on his hand.
He's a better quarterback than that.
Yep.
And I think and now everyone's like, oh, he's really not worth as much as he wants.
Now he's got him right where he wants him.
I think he comes in and proves a lot of people wrong that.
All right. Well, I picked Seattle to beat us and we won. I picked the Packers to beat us and we won. I picked us to beat the Lions and we got our heads handed to us.
You're going to pick us to lose, aren't you?
Yep.
Rams 31, Vikings 13.
Ooh.
The last time the Vikings lost back-to-back games was when the Lions beat us and the Rams beat us Thursday night.
Yeah.
The Rams have gotten really hot, other than the game that they tanked on Sunday. And even Sunday, with their backups in, they had a chance to win that game. They're playing at home.
Yeah, home.
Yeah, it matters. I think it matters. I don't like the matchups on defense. And if we go 0 blitz on this team, we'll get buried alive. Because Nakua will light us up. And oh, by the way, Cooper Kupp's still a member of the Rams. And they ran all over us the first time. I hope I'm wrong. And I hope maybe the extra day does us some good in terms of prep work and getting all this crap out of our system. But I could see the Vikings going out with a whimper, and I won't be upset with the season.
No.
Because we weren't even supposed to be there.
No, not at all.
But after what I watched on Sunday, my faith in Sam in a big game and a spotlight went way down. He's got a lot to earn my not my respect, he has that, but to earn my trust and faith in him again. And I have to go with the Rams on Monday. I want to be totally wrong. I want to miss this by a lot. But if I'm going by what I've watched in the last couple of weeks, 31-13 Rams I can see happening.
I will say I do feel like this, when we find our quarterback, whether it is Sam or it is JJ or it is freaking Daniel Jones, I don't know, this offense is lights out.
Yeah.
This offense is incredible. And I think
our
skill positions. And when we get Darrisaw back, I think it is going and even Reisner has been performing way above these last few weeks, way above he's ever performed. He was like the 12th best guard last week, 2 weeks ago. So like, I do think whenever Sam is on, or whenever we find a quarterback, this is going to be a dangerous offense. A dangerous offense, because there were so many wide open receivers. Hawkinson got open, Jefferson got open, Naylor was open, Addison was open. So many people were open and Sam just wasn't seeing it. So whenever we find our guy, like I said from the beginning, this offense can make any quarterback look amazing.
Sure.
It's the quarterback that makes it lights out. Any good quarterback can be really good in this offense. And I think we saw that.
I think getting Darrisaw back next year is also a big plus. I think we need to find a center. I think Bradbury's done the best he can. I just think he's way undersized. And he gets run over quite a bit. We got to get somebody who can anchor at the middle of that line. Because if the center breaks down, everything breaks down. It leaves far too much work for your guards and tackles to do.
Yep.
It makes stunts a lot easier.
Can Darrisaw move to a guard? Do centers move to guards?
Not typically.
Where do centers go? Just later?
Yep.
The Bahamas.
The big thing is they lack a lot of – the centers typically will lack more mobility.
Yeah. Their best thing is the ability to put the ball between their legs and block it after it's done. That's their skill set. That's not easy to do, is to get the ball back there and then block the guy that's coming at you. But they are definitely not agile.
Centers have the capability to push the heaviest single sled.
Yep.
That's about it. or to maybe, I guess, rather, centers have the best capability to take a single sled push and not be moved. That's a good center.
The good center.
But if the sled comes from the right or the left, nope.
That's where the guys next to him have to do their jobs.
That's where the guards come in. Yep. If it's straight up the middle, we're good.
I think our line is probably a C- offensive line.
Yep.
We need to upgrade the offensive line.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially with what will really be a rookie quarterback next year, maybe in JJ.
Yeah.
I consider him a rookie because he didn't play this year.
Oh yeah.
So in a first-year starter role, you've got to give him someone that's going to protect him so he's not doesn't get skittish back there.
Yep.
Well, we do have time for the question. We haven't done one in a couple of weeks. Do you have one?
What was it?
I don't
Because
know.
it was about me.
You can go. You got one, John?
Yeah, I have one.
What do you got?
All right. Who is your favorite Minnesota Vikings special teams player of all time?
Oh, I got it. Easy. Cordell Patterson. Easy.
That's a good one. I like that one.
I mean, he is still lights out. I wish the Vikings. He's like a Jerick McKinnon when in 2016 or 17 when he just like all of a sudden just became Mr. Utility on offense. That's what Cordell Patterson is.
I hated to see him go.
Same.
For just that reason. He was a game changer on special teams.
Ooh, Cheryl's. That's a good pick.
Marcus Cheryl's.
Sure, Bob, steal my pick. That was actually mine. Marcus Cheryl's is mine.
Oh, nice. Well, I haven't been a fan for very long, but I'm gonna go with DePola.
I was hoping somebody would pick him, and I like him as a sentimental guy. But as someone who watched the team for a long time,
his kid goes to the same preschool as our kid, and I've had the opportunity to, casual conversation.
He's
like nothing in depth, and he's super nice.
He's as nice as you would think.
Yep.
100% as nice as you would imagine.
Why can't we get him to come on the show? I've asked.
If I see him at pickup, I'll ask him.
We don't see him as much as we did
last year
because our pickup is upstairs and his is downstairs.
Yep.
So we don't see him as much. But last year I actually talked to him. I was like, and I just like said, hey, good game, or like, oh my gosh, that game was insane. He stopped, engaged with me, and then like carried on the conversation about the football game. So it wasn't just like, yeah, I know, or yeah, man, that stunk. It was like, yeah, that was like a crazy game. Like we weren't expecting it, and blah 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 blah, and blah 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 blah. And I was like, wow, really? Like carry on a conversation. He is as nice as you would think he is.
I would love to talk to him on the show. I'd love to get him to come on and just talk to us about the game, because the long snappers get not enough respect and not enough love. And
he gets a ton of love from the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, we all love him. And plus he's DePola, so he's Italian. So I like his.
And he has a bagel shop, which I want to go to.
He's got bagels too?
Yeah, he has a bagel shop. It's a breakfast. It's a DePola with bagels, I think.
I need these bagels.
I think okay, look up the Metellus with Metellus.
Okay.
The episode where they talk about what you tell people you do if you don't want to tell them you're a professional football player. And he said, I'm a bagel shop owner or something along those lines, because he has DePola's bagels. I think
I need these bagels.
Maryland? I could be very wrong on that. But it's not in Minnesota.
I need to get these bagels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's breakfast sandwiches and whatnot.
He should come on and talk about these bagels, because we love talking about food.
Yes.
We do.
That is my quest now, to get Andrew DePola to come on the show and talk about bagels.
We will like literally highlight his show the entire time, or highlight his shop the entire time.
He can have a whole segment to talk about bagels.
He should open up a shop in Minnesota. In all honesty, if anyone knows Andrew DePola, which I'm thinking very few of you actually do, he should open up a shop in Minnesota, because there are a few and far between breakfast places
that are decent.
Bruegger's Bagels is going downhill. They should take over Bruegger's Bagels and put into Pola's Bagels.
We don't have a decent bagel shop in Western New York.
That's sad.
It is sad because the other side of New York has lots of good bagels. Anyway, what's your question?
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, wow. I used to sing when I was younger. I sing in the car a little bit now.
I sing in the car all the time, and my children often ask me to stop.
My family is known for their voices, all of them. I am not the best voice. I used to be pretty good before I got older. I would probably go with Piano Man by Billy Joel, though.
Oh, nice.
Because I know it.
That's fair.
And my dad thinks it's about him. Because John at the bar, he's a bar. My family owns a bar. And my dad used to bartend. So,
Nice.
And that's his name. So John at the bar is a friend of mine. He loves that.
Nice.
I like that.
What about you guys?
I don't have one.
So we realized that
I'm with Jay.
awful at singing karaoke.
Yep.
We had a ugly sweater party that our friends invited us to, and we were incredibly bad.
Yep.
We were very enthusiastic.
Then I got drunk, and then I kept getting up.
We were very enthusiastic, and we were very excited about singing, but we were very bad. Very tone deaf. I did not realize how tone deaf I was until I got in front of a mic.
I'm tone deaf and monotone.
I have 2 songs that I know all the words to. I love singing them, and I will sing them if I am intoxicated when I do karaoke. Because otherwise, I don't really do karaoke. I need to have alcohol in me. The first one is Goodbye Earl by the Chicks.
Oh, yeah.
That one's just good to just belt out and just be an angry singer. The second one is Fishing in the Dark. Who is it by? I don't even know who it's by.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
It is, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. I knew that. That was lame. I will not sing it for you. You will have to look it up because I can.
That's old school Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
And the reason I know it is because, so in my hometown, we had this thing called Rails to Trails, and it is like, and it is basically just like a town festival or whatever. And like our town song kind of is Fishing in the Dark. Every single year, the band would sing it to end they would sing it multiple times, but they would like in the beginning and maybe in the middle, but every year they ended the street dance with Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Fishing in the Dark.
Actually, I should have gone with a different song for my go-to now. Because I can't sing that one anymore. The notes are too high for me.
That's fair.
So it'd have to probably be either Cheeseburger in Paradise by Jimmy Buffett.
There you go.
Which I love. Or it would have to be something by Jimmy Buffett. Volcano is also another one I could do.
There you go.
So it'd probably be a Jimmy Buffett song.
I like it.
Margaritaville I could do.
Oh, I got nothing. Oh, a question?
Yeah.
Oh, what is your favorite hobby?
What do you think it is now? I think you should know this one.
Popcorn.
Yeah, I just bought a new maker. I just bought a new popper.
Yeah.
It used to be baseball card collecting, but I don't do that. I haven't done that in years. The last few years, I just got away from it. It was a lot of work that I didn't have time for, but it's popcorn stuff. I love coming up with new flavors and making it.
That's an excellent hobby.
I like it.
What about you guys?
The Minnesota Vikings, my hobby. Sports.
Yeah.
I have a lame hobby. I need a better hobby.
You podcast. That's a hobby.
Podcast. Yeah.
Watch sports.
Yeah.
Participate in sports. Scream and holler at the television.
That's a hobby.
I need a better hobby. Dan's gonna have a cool hobby.
I have like 5. I have like
well, we know some of Dan's hobbies.
What's your latest hobby that you woke up this morning to do?
Painting miniature figures.
Like little game figures.
Yeah.
He
Oh
paints.
wow.
Yeah.
They're pretty good too.
They're definitely amateur.
His first few were pretty bad.
Yeah.
But now, like
It's
the
getting
last few, golf. Dan likes golf.
Golf, yes.
I like working out. Is that a good hobby?
That's a hobby.
Sure, that's a hobby.
Yeah.
Well, Dan builds desks. I mean, come on.
I know.
I
Dan
also
has cool hobbies.
do woodworking and pyrography and what else?
Dan has not posted any of them.
Oh, the figures, the miniature figures. No, I'll wait until they actually look better.
No,
And then
you
once
actually
they-
have a few
once
that
I-
look really cool.
You know, but like once I'm happy and when I think I'm like, yeah, this looks good, then I'll post the ones I think that look good, and then I'll post like the progression pictures
There you
of
go.
like the beginning.
So
But I'll wait until I think they look good.
we were
Yeah,
at
you can carve a popcorn bucket, and then I can send you popcorn to put in it.
Oh,
there you go.
yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
We were at a what was it, a murder mystery party for our Christmas with our friends, and there was this gentleman there, and we got to talking because we were playing some games, and Dan's like, he does painting too, and I was like, oh, you do painting figurines too? And he pulls out this picture of a character. Granted, the lighting is perfect, you know, all of that, so like the lighting can do shades or whatever, but when I tell you that it was beautiful, it was beautiful. And I was like, Dan does this too, and he actually just went and played Frosthaven with them.
Yep.
And he gets to paint his own figurine because
Yep.
he was the first one to play that character.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we have cool friends.
I made more friends.
He's a pilot.
Yeah.
So
See, you guys lead a more interesting life than you know.
sometimes we do not feel that way.
We imagine how like, we get stuck in the thing, and it's a adult and parent thing of imagine how interesting our life would be if we didn't have kids, but life would suck without our kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we would be doing, like, we wouldn't know the same people without our kids, but the people we
heck
know
no.
are so cool.
We have made like lifelong friends because of our kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how that happens.
Yeah.
Like some of the best people we've met and are friends with now
Or because of
are
sports
because of
with
our
our
kids.
And with my kids, I went to school with the parents of most of their friends.
That's awesome.
Well, at least when, not now they're adults, but when they were younger, it's like, oh, I went to school with her mom, or I went to school with her dad. So it's kind of like it came around in a full circle. Like you're back reacquainted with friends you had in high school because your kids are friends with their kids.
That's awesome.
Cool.
None of my friends have kids our age, our kids' age. Maybe Lila's age.
There are kids I went to high school with that have kids older than our kids.
We don't want to be friends.
But I don't want to be friends with any of the kids I went to high school with. Well, like maybe a couple of them, they were good people, but
I was fortunate. I liked the kids I went to school with.
I didn't dislike them. I grew up in a really small town, so like we knew everybody. Like my graduating class is like 144 people.
So we like same.
And I did not want to go back to my small town. So
Yeah, mine's only 9 square miles.
wow. I don't even know how big Watertown is.
I don't know.
But
Small.
as we talked about before, we produced an NFL head coach
There you go.
who's now the defensive coordinator for the Eagles.
The person who created JavaScript graduated from my high school.
Cool.
The producer for the podcast called Serial with Adnan Saeed. She went to my high school. And then there's someone that's really high up in politics that like worked with, like I think she worked with like Obama and Hillary because she has pictures with them on her Facebook. Went to high school.
I don't know if I ever told you. You don't know who my high school produced?
Derek Carr.
No,
I'm just kidding. Your city produced Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Who did your high school produce?
A really good NASCAR racer.
Jeff Gordon.
No, I don't know who.
No one?
I have to look it up.
Daniel Carey.
Dan, come on, we're late again.
Oh,
I know.
Come on.
We don't have time for you to look up the NASCAR driver that you don't know from your hometown.
My gosh. Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's the only NASCAR driver I know.
Kevin Harvick.
Oh yeah, I know Harvick. I know that name.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It's weird because I know NASCAR drivers. I just don't know the sport that well.
That's fair.
Like if you said the names, oh yeah, I know that name.
Yeah.
But I don't watch it. I watched it for a little while. I don't watch it anymore.
I don't even pay attention.
It kind of bored me.
You should reach back out and be like, do you want to come on our podcast?
Right.
Well, I think we should wrap this up.
Now there's too many tangents now.
Yep.
Well, that's what we're known for. We go off on tangents and then we never come back.
Yeah.
That's how we end the show. We just we don't even really wrap it up, which is like, all right, we've been doing this too long. That's it. It's over. We're done.
Yep.
Jay, that is wonderful.
It is, isn't it?
I love that you are helping and working with the youth.
The youths.
The youths.
Well, we'll call it a game.
Leave the world a bit better than I found it.
We'll be back next week, win or lose. Hopefully win.
Yep. Hopefully win.
Let's go.
We'll keep doing shows as long as the Vikings are alive.
Yep.
And
We'll
so
do
hopefully
one
that'll take us right
after
up.
they are out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, send us out. Thank you for everybody for showing up and chatting with us. Go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.